What's up, everybody? Welcome back to RacingNews.com. Welcome back to another one of our previews. Let's get to it. The big race of the weekend. It is the Whitney Stakes coming up at Saratoga on Saturday, August 8th. Race 12 on the card. I'll put the field up for you now. It is a good one. Field of 8 lined up for this one. We should have a very, very fun race here. The who's who of this older division is here. All right, let's start with the top horse right now in the division. Let's see if we can keep that rolling, and that is Magnitude. Magnitude 3 for 3 this season, a win in the Razorback before going over and winning the Dubai World Cup and then taking home the Stephen Foster last time out. This horse has been a monster, especially in the last couple of races. You know, a horse that was big as a 3-year-old and got hurt, came back, was able to make the Travers, didn't do any running whatsoever. But since that Travers has just been a different horse. Pennsylvania Derby got second, ran pretty well that day, and then rattling off wins to end the year in the Clark. And then, like I said, the 3 races after that this season. So pretty darn impressive what this horse has been able to put together. Steve Asmussen, a guy that we know with these older horses, they just get better sometimes. This horse has been kind of compared to Gunrunner, and very well see it. Just really, really good. Last time out in Stephen Foster, caught a sloppy track and caught a race that didn't have a ton of pace in it. I'm really hoping we're not getting a sloppy track. There is a slight bit of rain in the forecast. I think we'll be fast. I think we'll have a decent amount of pace as well. So I do think the trip might be a little bit different, but still, he may be the speed of the speed. It'd be very, very tough to catch. He's in there with a big shot. Talking about the number 1 Magnitude. This really obviously adds a ton of intrigue to this situation, and that is the number 2 Nitrogen. Nitrogen coming into this race after winning the Ogden Phipps by 12 3/4 lengths. An incredible win there, just absolutely dusted the field. That was after a couple of really, I'd say 3 really average races at Oaklawn Park. Won the Bayakoa, 3rd in the Azeri, 2nd in the Apple Blossom, and people were clamoring to get Nitrogen back to the turf. Need to get back to the turf. She's just not doing well. She was okay on the dirt, but I think the turf is where she needs to be. And then she pops that race in the Ogden Phipps. Now, what also will help? Look, you can think what you want about the speed figure or the time of the race or how that happened, and I get it. I have my questions as well of how legit of a race it was. I mean, it was a great race, but can't she replicate it is how I should phrase that. Fully Subscribed came back to win, in her next start. So that is something. So let's keep that in mind. But Nitrogen, obviously a horse I think that I'm very skeptical she can make it 2 in a row in that level of race. But can she press Magnitude? Can she make it difficult on Magnitude? Yeah, I absolutely think so. So they might be kind of going up on the front end there, drawing the 1 and the 2. The number 3 is Antiquarian, a horse I like to bet when he's in a little bit weaker competition. I don't really want to take him in this one. I think he's a little up over his head a little bit in this race. Really good race to start his 5-year-old campaign in the Winchester, and then 4th in the Manhattan, in the Met Mile, didn't run particularly well there. And then the Suburban broke pretty poorly, got 4th, never really involved. With a better break, I think he'll run better here. And I think, look, if you're looking for like a longer price that might be able to hit the board at a big number, it's him. He's not for me, though. I'm taking a pass for him here. And I usually have really good things to say about him. I just think in this race, he's up against it in a major way. And I think the same about number 4, Forged Steel as well, coming off a 5th place effort in the Suburban where he didn't run a step. Now, 2 races back, he did win the Hollywood Gold Cup out at Santa Anita by 9.5. Looked pretty good doing that. He's a decent horse for Safi. I think he's another one that's up against it. I will say, though, he's another one that at his best, when you see him at his best, he's on the lead. And in the Suburban, he didn't go, and I don't really know why. It probably wouldn't have changed things for him, but it certainly changed the complexion of the race when Forge still didn't go. I think they'll send him here, and I think that could, again, hurt Magnitude or Nitrogen, either one, if they send Forge Steel. So I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens with him. As we keep going, the number 5, Wabario, a horse I think everybody is pretty excited about seeing once again here. A 7-year-old now, who was the winner of the Oaklawn Handicap 2 races back. Sloppy track last time out in the Stephen Foster, did no running whatsoever, got 4th, beat 9 3/4. Just didn't really show up that day. So the first thing you kind of think of as well, maybe it was the sloppy track, and you can kind of go back and look, and he is 0 for 3 over a sloppy track, but they were tough races. He was third in the Cigar Mile back in the day. That was 2022. That was over a sloppy track, third beating a half length. He ran over a sloppy track in the Met Mile in 2025 and did really no running there. Got fourth. Well, he did some running, but he got fourth, beating 5 1/4. And then, like I said, last time out, just didn't really fire. I would draw a line through that one. I think his races, like the Oakland Handicap, put him right there with a chance. We've seen him right here at Saratoga run huge before. That was a long time ago, though. The 2023 Whitney was the last time he was a winner here at Saratoga, and it was pretty impressive that day. If you remember, it was an absolute blowout, and it led to a Breeders' Cup Classic victory in his next start at Santa Anita. So I think he'll run better. It's just a question of how much better, and that's something we're going to have to, well, we will find out on Saturday. Now let's go to the one that left my head scratching a little bit, and that's the number 6 Sovereignty. I could explain and totally understood the Oakland Handicap. I thought he ran well in that race, got second, beaten 2 lengths. I thought he ran very well. Stephen Foster, he didn't run very well. There's no doubt about it. He kind of circled up like maybe he was going to start to run, and he got third, and well beaten third at that. His stablemate Baeza kind of flew right by him. And, I don't think Sovereignty ever really had magnitude in his sights that day. So tough race all around. I think at first you go, well, sloppy track, maybe that was a little bit of a problem, but he did win the Kentucky Derby over a sloppy track. And at that time, that was the best race of his career. So I don't think he has a problem with the slop. Maybe he just needs to kind of race his way back in shape here. 2 races where, he hasn't been great to start the year, but 2 races last year, he was just okay to start the year before he really got going. So maybe he needs that. Maybe he needs a little bit longer. He won't get that here. Last 2 races have been at 1 1/8, and this one will come at 1 1/8 as well. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here with him. I want to think he's going to run better. I want to think he's better than what he's seen, but the last race was pretty concerning. Like I said, the Oakland race didn't worry a bit, but that race last time out didn't fire very well. Not a big explanation from Bill Mott either. He said, hey, I had 2 horses in the race. One ran really well and one did not run to my expectations. So we'll see if Sovereignty can kind of bounce back in this spot. At a track, obviously, he loves 3 for 3 up here at Saratoga. Last year, I should say, he did lose on debut as a 2-year-old, but last year went 3 for 3, Belmont, Jim Dandy, and Travers, all victories up here last year. All right, let's go number 7, Tastic next. Tastic coming in off a 3rd place effort in the Suburban. Of course, the horse that tried the Kentucky Derby route and won the Louisiana Derby as a 3-year-old. Didn't run well in the Kentucky Derby. They tried turf. That did not go well whatsoever. Came back this year as a 4-year-old to win his dirt debut, I should say, as a 4-year-old in an allowance race at Churchill before the 3rd in the Suburban. He is a kind of just a throw out to me. I know Asmussen, he still likes this horse, but I think it would take a major, it'd be a major upset, in my opinion, if Tastic was able to get the job done. Finally, the number 8 Baeza, and I have a feeling he is going to take a lot of money in this spot, coming off that Stephen Foster race. And look, his story is a weird one. Let's go back to the 3-year-old season. Broke his maiden, went right to the Santa Anita Derby. John Sheriffs at the time was the trainer of this horse and threw him deep into the pool very quickly, which is a good sign that he really liked this horse a lot, right? And, ran well, 2nd in the Santa Anita Derby, 3rd in the Kentucky Derby, 3rd in the Belmont, 2nd in the Jim Dandy, won the Pennsylvania Derby, and was 6th in the Breeders' Cup Classic. So a really, really good 3-year-old season for a horse that really got thrown into the deep end of the pool. Well, and then, tragically, unfortunately, John Sheriffs passes away, and so the horse gets transferred to Bill Mott for this year. And I mean, let's just say what it is. He should be 2 for 2, and he has looked, while last year was really good, he's looked like a much better horse this year. However, he is 0 for 2 because he cannot start. He cannot break from the gate. Now, in the Ali Sheba, he was 3rd, beaten 3/4 of a length. He kind of got held at the gate. I almost thought he should be a non-starter. I didn't really blame him. I didn't really think that was his fault. But in the Stephen Foster, he just didn't break very well. He spotted the field several lengths. It was nobody's fault but his own. He still runs up and gets 2nd and was flying by everybody, but could not catch magnitude there. 2nd by a length and a quarter. But I thought he ran really, really well in that race. And so it's one of those things. I think everybody is kind of coming into this race, and if you're picking Baeza, betting Baeza or not, you're thinking, hey, if he breaks, he's going to win, or he's going to be really, really tough to beat. Boy, it's a big if, though, right? I know they've been trying to get him better at it. They're working with him on it, and so we'll just kind of see how it plays out with him. But you can't deny the talent. The talent is off the charts with this one. Based on the last two starts, he's really, really been something to see. All right, so that is the field of 8. I think the number one magnitude is going to be really tough in this spot. I just think he's blossomed into a really nice horse. I think this year, the Stephen Foster, he did take him in gate to wire fashion, but boy, I thought a couple of his races early in the year, and even if you go back to the Clark from last year, he was able to sit off the pace. He does not have to go to the lead if they're flying up top. I think that makes him really dangerous, because if Nitrogen and Forge Steel go, I think Magnitude can sit off. So I'm going to go number one Magnitude on top. I like him quite a bit in this spot. I've liked him all year, really, but I really like him in this spot. It's number 8 Baeza for me in second. I think a Stephen Foster, kind of 1-2 running again is very possible. I just think maybe Baeza's kind of past sovereignty at this point. That's something that a lot of people thought would happen last year and didn't. And maybe it has now. So I went number 8 Baeza in second. I just don't trust him enough to break, or I would pick him on top here. I do kind of agree with the sentiment of everybody else of like, he was the best horse in those last 2 races. He just didn't break. I'm going to have him on everything here. So I'm going to go number 1 Magnitude first, number 8 Baeza in second. I am going to give number 6 Sovereignty one more chance. I've got him in third. I'm going to give him one more shot here. I do think he still could come around. I do still think he's got a big shot. I think these are the 3. I'll be a little surprised if anybody else wins. So I went 1, 8, 6. I will put number 5 Wabario in fourth. I don't know. I know he won the Oakland handicap. I still think he might just be a touch below these horses when they're at their absolute best and he's at his absolute best. I still prefer the top 3 I just mentioned just a tad more, but that's no disrespect to Wabario. I still like him. I won't be shocked at all if he wins this race. So I'm going to go 1, 8, 6, 5, 1, 8, 6, 5 in this year's Whitney. All right, guys, that'll do us the video. Hit that like button if you like it. Subscribe. You really like it. Want to get alerted anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, good luck if you're betting Saratoga on Saturday.